Hello friends, this is Sushrit Tendulkar and welcome to my YouTube channel. In this tutorial, we're going to learn about how to do sentiment classification using LSTM on Keras. Let's get started. We will use movie reviews dataset for doing the sentiment analysis. The dataset has two columns, movie reviews and the corresponding sentiments. We'll first download the dataset. We'll build a simple LSTM model using Keras. We'll try to dig a little deeper into the network. We'll then train the model and finally we'll check the accuracy. This is the simple architecture of how it would look like. We would have the reviews here in text and that would be converted to number, and these numbers would be fed into an embedding layer, and from there it gets into an LSTM layer and finally to a fully connected layer or a dense layer which will calculate the sigmoid. And we are interested in the sigmoid output of the last hidden state, which we use for calculating the probability score. What we will not do in this tutorial is pre-processing the text data, that is converting the text into numbers. We're going to use the existing data that has already converted text into number, and we're not going to fine-tune the model. And the main purpose of this tutorial is to understand how LSTM can be used for creating the sentiment analysis, and fine-tuning the model we will cover in the future tutorial. Let's switch to Jupyter Notebook. Alright, let's get started. First, let's import dataset. Before that, let's import some of the libraries that we might need. So first let's import the dataset from Keras. So we are using the IMDb dataset. Next, we need to call the load data function from the IMDb package. So let's do that. So we are calling the load data function here, but the load data function threw some error. So for that we need a small hack here that will first store the np.load function in the old one, and then it will modify the np.load function to allopickle equal to true, and then again it will set back the old settings. So this step loads all the dataset into train and test variables. Now let's see how many datasets we have downloaded. Let's view some of the sample reviews. So as you said earlier, we are using the pre-processed data. So the input will have the numbers and not the text. So this is a review and this one represents the positive sentiment. We can view the actual text of this review by using one more function called getWordIndex from the IMDb. This is the function that gets all the word index pair and stores it into this variable, and then we create a dictionary out of that. So that will have word index match, and then finally we loop through each of the word in the training example, and then we print the corresponding words. So for this review these are the text associated with each of these numbers. And we already know that this has a positive sentiment. Now let's print the maximum review length and the minimum review length so that we can use it for fixing the padding size. Let's print this. So the maximum review length is 2697. So one of the review has this length. And the minimum review length is 14. Now we know the maximum length and the minimum review length, and we also have the data ready. Let's build a simple LSTM model. So first let's import the required libraries. Let's define the max words as 500. So we are capping the length of each review to be 500. Let's use pad sequence function from sequence that will fill all the blank words with zeros. For example, if the review has only 250 words, it will fill zeros so that the total length becomes max words, that is 500. So we do that and store in xtrain and xtest variables. So we can see that all the blank words are padded with zeros to the left. We can even see the shape of it. So it says 10 by 500. So 500 is the max word that we have set here. Now let's import the required libraries for building the LSTM network. We need an embedding layer, we need a LSTM layer, we need a dense layer, and probably dropouts. Now once we have this, we can start building the model. So let's define embedding size as 32. We're going to convert this review with the length 500 through an embedding layer, and that will have a size 32. So here we are building the model. So first we define a sequential, we say that it's a sequential model, and then we add an embedding layer to that with the input length as max words, that is 500 what we have defined here, and then the output size as vocabulary size and the embedding size. And then we are adding LSTM layer to that with 100 units, and finally we add a dense layer with 1 unit, and we're saying that activation function as sigmoid. Now let's print the model summary. So now this shows the different layers in the model and the corresponding output of each layer. So the embedding layer outputs 500 by 32 matrix, the LSTM layer outputs none by 100, and the dense layer outputs none by 1. Now we can recall from our earlier tutorial on LSTM that each layer is accompanied by a corresponding weight matrix. So let's see what weight matrix are generated corresponding to each of these individual layers. So we are looping through each of the layers, and we're looping through weights in each of these layers and then printing the corresponding weights in the shape of the weight. So we can see that the first layer is an embedding layer and the weight is 5000 by 32. And then there are 3 weights created for LSTM layer and 2 weights created for the dense layer. Now why 3 weights are created for LSTM layer? Let's quickly recall what we learned from the LSTM tutorial. If you have not watched that, I highly recommend you to watch that for more understanding. I'll quickly walk you through the architecture just for recalling purpose. So a LSTM layer will have three gates: forget gate, input gate, and the output gate. And then there are corresponding weights with respect to the input and the hidden state. And then there is a cell state here that remembers the information from the previous timestamp and then carries it forward to the next timestamp. And the hidden state goes through different gates to produce the new hidden state. The important thing here is each of the input will have corresponding input weight, and the hidden state will have corresponding the hidden weights. Now coming back to the Keras model, so we have three different weights, and each of these corresponds to three different weights we just discussed. So the first one corresponds to the input weight, the second one corresponds to the hidden weight, and the last one corresponds to bias. So let's spend some more time here to understand each of these in bit detail. So we know that the first layer, that is the embedding layer, has a weight of 5000 by 32. Now we can quickly recall that our dataset has 5000 rows, and we are saying that the embedding size output should be 32 here. And we also know that each of the sentence is padded to be a 500 word sentence. If you look into the math, our input is 5000 training examples or 5000 sentences, each with 500 words. We multiply that with 5000 by 32 weight, that is the weight that has been defined here, and we get output of 500 by 32. That is what is shown here. Let's look into the LSTM weights. If we print all the trainable weights of the first layer or the second layer, we see that there are three different weights: kernel weight, recurrent kernel weight, and the bias. So this we have already seen now. So kernel weight corresponds to the input, and it has a shape of 32 by 400, and the recurrent kernel corresponds to the hidden weight, and it has a shape of 100 by 400, and the bias has a shape of 400. Now why 400 here? And we have defined a LSTM to be having 100 units, and Keras has defined a weight of 400. To understand this, we have to recall that LSTM has four different parts. It has input gate, it has forget gate, it has cell state, and it has output gate. The input weight 32 by 400 here, it corresponds to all those four. So let's break this down further. Let's store the weights in three different variables for understanding. So we're storing the first weight in W, the second weight in U, and the bias in B. And let's define units as 100. So this is what we have defined as the number of units for LSTM layer. Now if we break down this according to the weights, we have the input weights in W. We can break down into four different units: weight for input, weight for forget gate, weight for the cell state, and weight for output gate. And we can print it, and this 32 by 400 can be broken down into 32 by 100 each corresponding to each of the units of LSTM. Similarly, we can break down the weights corresponding to the hidden state. We can see that each of the hidden state has a width or the shape as 100 by 100. This corresponds to the number of units we have defined for LSTM, and input will be 1 by 100. You multiply that with 100 by 100 weight, and the output will be 1 by 100. So that is same as this one. And similarly, this bias, which has a shape of 400, can be broken down for four different units of LSTM, that is input gate, forget gate, cell state, and output. And similarly, a dense layer will take the input from the LSTM layer, and then it produces one output corresponding to the sentiment. So now we have understood the different weights of Keras. Let's start training our model. So we use compile function from the model. It requires an error function. We are using binary cross entropy. It requires an optimizer, Adam, and we are using accuracy as the metric. So now we have defined how we want to train the model. Let's start training it. Now we have defined the error function and the optimizer. Let's start training it. So we'll define a batch size as 64 and number of epochs as 1 for this demo. But typically you can take 3 to 5 to 10 epochs for increasing the accuracy. And here we split the training data set into train set and the validation set with the corresponding batch size, what we have defined here. Let's start training it. Now this will take some time. I'm going to pause this video and we'll come back once the training is complete. Alright, we are done with the training. You can see that our loss on the validation set as 30 and then validation accuracy as 89. Let's check the accuracy again. Alright, so we got a test accuracy of 84%, which is really good for one epoch. So if we increase the number of epochs, probably the accuracy will go up further. So we learned about, so we first started by importing the dataset, which was already pre-processed, that has numbers and the corresponding sentiment. We then created a simple LSTM model and observed the different layers and the corresponding weights. And then we trained it, and finally we measured the accuracy of it. Well, that's it for this video. Thank you so much for watching. Keep learning. Bye-bye.